Good morning, everyone. We've already reached the 5th Sunday of Eastertide, and a few weeks ago on Easter Sunday, I said to you that if death itself has been conquered by the rising of Jesus from the dead, what else in all the world need we be afraid of? Because death is our greatest fear. Death is the thing that worries us the most. When I said Mass this morning, the Gospel, in a way, repeated that same message to us. Because our Lord said to his disciples in today's Gospel, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God still, and trust in me." Why were they to do that? Because he reminded them that at the end of life's journey is a happy homecoming. "There are many rooms in my Father's house," were the words he used. What he was saying was that at the end of all things, there's a home for each of us in our Father's home in heaven. Now, there are many kinds of journeys in life. Sometimes we are on journeys into the unknown, and a journey into the unknown, naturally enough, gives us a certain amount of anxiety. But the great journey of our life is not a journey into the unknown. The great journey of our life is that sweetest of all journeys, the journey home, to be with God our Father. And of course, along the way, there may be many uphill stretches that we have to work our way through. Many times when the wind is in our face and going seems a bit tough. But nevertheless, if we keep our final goal in sight, then nothing of that need worry us too much. Nothing of that need distress us. Do not let your hearts be troubled, as our Lord says. In fact, the only thing that we need to remember in our life's journey is that every step that we take along the way is a step that either brings us closer to our goal, which is to be at one and at home with God, or it leads us away from it. Every step that we take has its importance. In other words, our life's not just some kind of vague wandering. Many of us from time to time live our lives as though they were just a kind of meaningless wandering through a series of events. Our life is not like that. It is a journey with an end in sight, and the end is heaven. And each step either brings us closer to that or further away from that, nearer to God or further away from him. How are we to know the difference? St. Thomas asked that question in today's Gospel. The way he put it was, "Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way? How can we know that we are treading the right path? How can we know that we are drawing nearer to our final destiny?" And the answer to it is that Jesus Christ shows us the way. He put it more clearly than that even. He said, "I am the way, the truth and the life." Our life must be an imitation of Jesus Christ. There was a famous book written in the Middle Ages by Thomas à Kempis which described the spiritual life in precisely those terms. It's called The Imitation of Christ. In order to imitate Christ, we need not just to know about him. Any cleverish person can learn the facts of our Lord's life, can learn by rote the things that he said. That's not what matters. It's not knowing about him that is the key to us following him, the way, the truth and the life. It's knowing him. And there is is the world of difference between knowing about somebody and knowing them, between knowing about Jesus Christ and knowing him. And the key to knowing him, as opposed to knowing about him, is in spending time with him, praying and spending time in prayer in his company, so that little by little, and almost without us noticing, and all but imperceptibly, he becomes familiar to us, and we become friends of his. And when that is part of us, when that has become part of our makeup through prayer, then we will be following Jesus, the way, the truth and the life. And we need never be troubled or afraid. Our home in heaven is drawing closer to us. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.